Hi and welcome back to Gray's Gardening. My name is Gray and this is my channel showing you exactly what I'm doing down at the allotment, and hopefully you can pick up a few tricks along the way. Thank you to everyone who subscribed recently. I've just hit 500 subscribers, so I'm absolutely made up. Next target, of course, is the 1,000. So I've just popped down today. It's the 17th of February. We're starting to get towards the end of the winter now and the spring is not far away. So a quick tour of the plot to show you what is starting to burst into life. So let's get started. Okay, so in this corner here is my kiwi vine that I actually planted in the ground last year. Moved that from my home garden and it's taken really well. Maybe it's because it's in a corner, it's south facing, nice and shielded. These are really starting to swell now. These are the new buds, which all the new shoots will be coming out from, and hopefully I'll be able to train it right along here. Before we know it is starting to go that way, but it's a vine, so it should still start climbing up. And I've actually got a couple more kiwis now, so apparently you need more than one kiwi to produce fruit. These are my Goldcrest conifers that are really starting to swell out now, and hopefully each of those will close that gap. I think I've got 5 of those in there, and that'll be like one big hedge across there. This side, this was the same intention here, but for some reason that one on the left is beginning, well, this winter, I don't know whether it's in a draft or what, but that one's not looking too happy, so I'll have to replace that one. Across the arch is the Montana clematis, which is lovely pink flowers, and you can just see, if I grab this one of these, you can see it's just starting to come into bud now, and they're bursting out. There's a few more up there and they'll be in flower very soon. So eventually this will be basically, hopefully you can see what that is, hedges almost on both sides, and the only way in is through the archway. Coming over here, if you've been following my channel, you know how much I enjoy my fig tree, and this is starting to burst into life too. Just at the end of each of those is the new buds. You can see that there. There we go. They're the new buds covering each of the ends of each of the branches, and then along here on last year's wood will be the new figs, but they haven't started showing yet. Got no life in the apple, well, not much life anyway. The buds are beginning to swell a little bit, and they've got that sticky stuff on, so it won't be long until we have a bit of blossom on that apple tree. Again, one of my favourite plants, favourite trees, is my apricot tree. This is called Apricot Early because you can see the buds here really beginning to show. The blossom is not far away. In fact, some of that blossom is already coming out. So if the camera picks it up, you can see buds all over here. Some of them are already open, and they'll be the ones getting pollinated early by the bees when the bees start waking up. So any joy, we'll get a good few apricots this year. Right next to it is my pond that I've been trying to get dug for a while now. Well, it's mainly dug. I'm going to get down to the plot tomorrow, hopefully finish this pond off. It's been sitting in this state basically for about 12 months now. So I'm going to dig some shelving in that the plants can sit on, and then also have it so that if any hedgehogs or small wildlife falls in, they'll be able to climb themselves out. Here we have a cordyline that 2 years ago it died over the winter. Had to chop that back, but like they do, they regenerate themselves from the bottom. So I'm going to try and dig that out and separate this into some of its own separate cordyline plants. Here's a cherry tree, not doing much at the minute, and that bed just behind really needs a bit of revamping, but I'm going to wait till the pond's done and then I should be able to do that. I'll dig that over, put some new compost in, and it'll look much better than it currently is. Here we have some bamboo, a couple of different types. We've got the golden bamboo, which is smaller leaves, and then I don't know the names, but this is a much taller one. But unless you are absolutely dead certain on where you want your bamboo, do not plant it in the ground because it's very invasive, and once you've planted it in, you will really struggle to get it out again. So I'm going to keep mine in pots, I think, and just place it where I want it. Coming over, you may have spotted these. These are my Musa Bajju banana trees, all wrapped up, but you can already see it's starting to burst into life. This has actually come In fact, this one's burst through the plastic, even though I left a big hole for it. So I'll just, there we go, just so it doesn't strangle it. But that is the top. Probably hit a bit more frost and wet, and that will just keep coming through the center. And then likewise, these are all alive and doing well too. There's that big leaf starting to poke out. I could chop them off in the middle just to let that grow, but because there's many more days of frost ahead, I'm going to leave that just to keep protecting the master tree. So all three of these are fine. If I just push on the main trunk, it's got plenty of resistance. If it was falling over, then I would know that it's already started dying and going to mush. Just down here, we've got my Gunnera, also known as dinosaur food, because the leaves, it's so Jurassic looking when it's actually in the middle of the summer. But what I do is I chop off all the leaves and I use the banana trees, put them all on top for the winter, just to protect the main nucleus of the plant. And if I just, let's have a look. Here we go. We actually have already got some new life going on in there. They're the new leaves ready to come out, but it's far too cold still for this plant yet. So I'll keep that covered up, and in another couple of months, I'll take all those leaves off and he'll start to grow all by himself. Over here, this will one day be my topiary stag or topiary reindeer. The forelegs are in. It's starting to take a bit of shape, but I think it's going to be a while before I get any kind of resemblance of a body and the head. But I did put these in to kind of coerce it to join in the middle. We shall see how that goes. Just behind it is the salmonberry. It's like a raspberry, but much more pink in colour. In fact, you can already see some of the blossom and the buds for this beginning to open, and that's absolutely beautiful when it's in the full pink colour. But again, it spreads like wildfire. This was one cutting and it's now spread all the way around this area. You get them popping through the ground everywhere. Here's one, which I don't want it there, so I could either dig that out and move it or just chop it off. But yeah, be careful where you plant this. Nice fruits though. They are like a raspberry, but bit sweeter. They're very enjoyable. Okay, we're just going to come round to the back of the greenhouse. This is all coming up this year. This is the load of carpet left over from when I took over the plot. This will all come off. We've got a new greenhouse to go in there. I say a new one, new to me. Recycled from somebody else who gave that away. This is my wood shed, which I think eventually is going to be taken down. And so in this area, I'm going to have a couple more greenhouses. I've got one there, and I've got my old conservatory, which is going to go up in some fashion to make a glass house in that area too. Like with any allotment, there's always repair work to be done. So in the storms we've had in the UK recently, my fence has come down, so I'll pop that back up tomorrow and do a bit of fixing on that one. Here is my soft fruit bed. We've got the red gooseberry in the middle. Very sweet. You can eat them direct from the bush itself. But you can just see here we've got the raspberries starting to come back to life. There's raspberries and black currants, different variations, and they're all just starting to come to life now as we get closer and closer into the spring. Behind me is the area this is going to be my bonfire. I've been clearing the plot and plonking everything there to kind of dry out, and then I'll have a nice big fire there in a few weeks' time once it's dried. And don't worry, I will check underneath it before I light it, just in case any little hedgehogs have gone in there. Coming over to this bed, and a couple of weeks ago I realised that all the cardboard I had on top of it was actually going to be covering up. So that was the cardboard over the whole thing, but I've got about 100 daffodil bulbs in here, and as you can see, they're all starting to come out quite nicely now, and they'll make for some nice cut flowers to take home. However, we also have plenty of weeds starting to come through, and this one in particular, I think this one is called mare's tail. simply because of how deep the roots go. So at this time of year is great to try and get these out, but to do it you've got to really dig down, get right underneath it. You can see the whole thing coming up, and then they just shake that off. There you go, look at the size of that root. Got all of that out. If any of that was to break off, that would just keep coming time and time again. So I think it's mare's tail. If I'm wrong, if you know what that weed is, please let me know in the comments below. So there is a few more of those, and now's the time to get them out. So look, there's one, there's one. Yeah, there's a good few, but you saw how easy they come out this time of year. If you leave them in much longer, especially into the summer, they are almost impossible to remove. And then just going inside the greenhouse, or before I do, on this left hand side, this is a blueberry plant. It's called Pink Lemonade because the blueberries themselves are a pink colour, and apparently they taste of lemonade, but I never get to eat them because the birds have them. I might have to try and cover that up a bit more this year. If you saw the video last week, this was me insulating the greenhouse, and it really is a lot warmer in here since I've done that. That's just with the basic bubble wrap. Please check back through my videos if you want to see how I did that and what you need to do it yourself. But here we go. This one obviously is taking advantage of the warmer temperatures in here. This is a honeyberry, and that produces long purple fruits, which are really sweet. Had a ton of them last year, but the birds got every single one. So he'll be staying in here this year, so I can get to enjoy them. Here's another one of the kiwi vines. And again, this one, you can just see actually that bud there is starting to burst out. There's a few there, so it won't be long until this is also growing nicely, and we shall see, hopefully get some kiwis. That's another honeyberry. This is the Chilean guava, looking very healthy indeed, and this gets an abundance of fruit. They're like a blueberry, same size, well, a bit bigger than a blueberry, but they've got like a bit of a custardy taste to them. Very tasty in the late summer. So one I would definitely recommend growing, just to, you know, something a little bit different. Coming around, we've got we've got a pink or red cordyline doing quite well. Another blueberry. This one I do get to enjoy because he's inside, and we've got plenty of buds there beginning to open up. And then there's smaller banana trees that I dug out, the baby bananas, or the pups they like to call it. I popped these into some pots, and they're starting to come alive as well. And that's one, and I've got a few more dotted about in here. And then finally, these were fig tree cuttings, and I think you can see there these are well and truly alive, and they'll make for some baby fig trees or new fig trees this year. Dead easy to do. Did a video on that last year. You snip them off, you pop them in some soil, and there you'll have a new fig tree. In fact, I think one here behind me was from the year before, and yet growing nicely. Those buds, they're fine. These have made it through the winter, or hopefully they have anyway. No life on the grapevine yet. These will all start. The new buds will start coming out from here, but no, not yet. Still a bit too. I've also got some rhubarb in here, which I'm attempting to force. Let's have a look at it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, not getting much sunlight at the moment, which is making it grow longer, meaning I'll get more to harvest in a few months' time. I think I'm doing it right. I'm going to cover that back up again and then take that off, obviously when it gets a bit warmer. If I'm not doing it right, please tell me in the comments below. One job I need to do while I'm here is to move this peach tree. As you can see, it's in its dormant state, although those buds are looking like they want to start bursting into life. But I think it's still dormant enough for me to move it now. Behind here is a mass of blackberries, and they grow possibly up to about 10 foot high, meaning that this poor little apricot tree doesn't get much light. So I'm going to dig them out and move them to a new place. I'm going to do that now. Try and get as much of the root ball out as you can. So I'm just going to go quickly around the outsides. This only went in last year, so I'm not expecting these roots to have spread too far, but already I've hit something hard, which maybe I think that's a stone. Okay, see how much I can get underneath it. There we go, really starting to move now. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. Right, kept most of the roots intact there, so I'm just going to go and put that straight into its new home. And here it is, just in front of the daffodil bed. Let's have a look. You want to plant it pretty much right up to where it was. That's where the graft was done, so I'm going to do it just where that meets. In fact, I'm just going to put a bit of new compost in there to really help it. Get all those roots in. There we go, some multi-purpose compost there. Just start firming that down. Not too firm, just enough so that the tree itself, keep it straight as well. That's nice and straight. And then just backfill around it. Everything I've dug out. There we go. Isn't it strange how? Isn't it strange? I always find it funny. No matter what you dig out, you put more in it, yet all this will basically go back into that hole again. Why have I not got more left over? Always a good sign when you find a nice big wiggly worm. Throw them on the daffodil bed. So hopefully now Mr. Peach Tree, not sure if I just said apricot tree, but Mr. Peach Tree should now grow much nicer here because of all that extra light. Sun comes up over here and basically goes up and over there behind before it ducks behind that tree. So I do believe he's going to grow much better there. I don't know if you've noticed or not. I don't know whether I should show you this or not, but this is my shed. It's an absolute disgrace at the moment. Filled from top to bottom with old cardboard and all various bits and bobs. But as they do say, one man's treasure is another man's junk. I know what's in here, but really do need to tidy it. So there will be a new video on this in the coming months of me tidying my shed. Apparently people like to watch that kind of thing. Right, thank you very much for watching. As I say, just a bit of a plot tour and an update on what's growing, what's beginning to burst into life, and some jobs that I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks. Thank you all for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please help me get to that 1,000 number. Every subscriber and every comment and every thumbs up really does help. So thank you all. See you on the next video. Take care. Bye now.